This movie, Miss Kanyin, is supposed to be a horror film, but I couldn't stop laughing throughout. Maybe I'm mentally ill, but the movie didn't scare me at all, apart from one scene that gave me a little bit of a jump scare. I enjoyed watching the film. However, the movie fell into one very big pitfall that many movies fall into. I'll say filmmakers fall into. I've watched other nice reviews, but nobody really mentions this, and this is the issue. They were much more committed to achieving certain scenes in the movie and achieving certain beautiful visual elements, so much that the storytelling suffered. It's like they had the scenes in mind and wrote the story around the scene. So multiple times in the movie, a lot of things don't make sense, but the movie looks beautiful and is right in the first scene. We see it right in the first scene. The movie starts in 1892. Some slaves are carrying a white man who's probably going to die of malaria from that mosquito bite. Now, this white man says that he's in a hurry. He wants to get to his destination before nightfall. He wants to get there fast. But then as they are going, they come across this beautiful tree that looks like it was made of zeros and ones in a computer, because it was. It's not supposed to look like it was made on a computer. That's the point of realistic CGI. But let's be content with what we have. Then the slave leading them tells them that they can't stay over here. The guy translates it and said, we can't stay over here.
He says we can't stay here. Battery.
But there was no mention of staying over there. The man explicitly said he wants to get to his destination faster. He wants to get there before nightfall. So why would he want to stay over there? The white man says nonsense. They should put him down. They put him down. He gets a bloody animal because he wants to take a picture. Maybe he wants to post it on the sub-Saharan colonial version of Instagram, which at that point would have been a real wall in his room. While he's taking the picture, the blood of the animal pours on the tree. The tree comes alive and just separates this man's head from his body. If I was a photographer, I would still go and print the picture, because that picture would have been the first viral photo in sub-Saharan Africa. So then they show more of his body parts flying onto the camera guy. I can't show that because YouTube will flag me, but like, you know, like the guy's hands are, there's blood oozing onto the camera guy, and the guy's hands and his legs are just flying onto the camera guy. And this scene looked technically impressive. And that was the problem of the entire movie. You can tell they were so married to the idea, like they wanted to do this scene, that they didn't pay attention to the fact that the dialogue leading up to the scene did not make sense. And also, when the blood poured on the tree and the tree became darker, is when I realized that, oh, that's the reason why they made the tree look pale. Like, the tree is so bright and so separate. Like, if you look at the environment, the tree it looks pale. But it had to look pale so that when the blood pours on it, they will get that effect of the tree becoming darker and then killing the guy. Again, this movie looks beautiful. It's beautifully shot. The environments are beautiful. The cast is beautiful. The story was cool, but again, some of the little elements that put the story together very well were not there. Now let's go into the story. Let's an overview of the whole thing. So the movie is set in 1990, and over here we are given a little hint of some time travel, because Amara, the main character, her diary reads 2024, and this is like the thing that many people have complained about the most. I'm sure they saw it, but again, they didn't care because they liked the shots. So Amara is a very serious student, the kind who schedules her sleep in her diary, and Amara's main goal in this film is to go to Harvard University. Now, for her to get to Harvard University, she has to pass French. She's good in everything else, but she's not good in French. In the beginning, we meet her best friend Lami, who has superhuman aim with her slippers. I mean, how is it possible? How is she able to hit the alarm like that? She didn't even look. That is almost humanly impossible. But again, they were so married to these shots. I see what I'm saying. Like, this shot looks nice, the way she throws it and then it hits the thing. But it's very unlikely in any real situation. Then we meet Miss Kanyin, who you can say is the main character, but not really. I mean, her name is on the film, but not really. Miss Kanyin is their friend teacher. Classy woman, beautiful, great hair genetics. Also very sharp-tongued and annoying. Like, in one scene, she one teacher punishes a girl and she tells the girl to go. Like, what authority do you have to do that? And one very important thing about Miss Kanyin is that she's afraid of dogs, like really scared. She has a real phobia of dogs. Very important to the story. So as I mentioned, Amara has to pass French to go to Harvard, but in their mock examination, she got a C. She's sad about it, and her friends come to see her in the classroom. Now we meet Finn. Finn is like the love interest of Amara, but he also used to date Amara's best friend, Lami, and they're just allowing this.
Look, first of all, everyone know I dumped your ass, okay? And who said I was toasting Amara?
Please, even the groundskeeper knows that you're toasting Amara.
Yeah.
Like, they state that he's trying to toast Amara, and the fact that any of them are entertaining him at all is crazy. These girls are not serious. Now, the two of them don't really do much loving in the movie. I'm assuming they didn't want to make Mr. Easy angry in the house. They didn't want anybody to kiss Temi Otedola or anything like that. Now, Amara is sad about her Harvard situation, but Finn says that...
Don't worry. If they don't accept you, I'll speak to my dad to talk to someone there. And believe me, you get in.
In real life, she would be the one telling her dad to talk to people at Harvard for somebody else, which is very possible. Her dad is Otedola. But in this case, if this guy could really talk to people in Harvard to do corruption for somebody else, why is he in school in Nigeria? He wouldn't be in school in Nigeria. No offense, but rich people in Nigeria who have that kind of influence tend to send their kids abroad. So what do you mean by I'll tell my parents to talk to people at Harvard for you? Then we meet Uti and Fiona, who exist to be killed, okay? You need some of those characters in every horror movie. And the guy, I remember him from Far From Home. He's like Nigeria's Jacob Elordi. He has to always take off his shirt and look like a fine boy and do that thing. That's his thing. Now, Chisom is Amara's former best friend, so I'm sure Finn at some point would want to toast her too, since he has a thing for people's best friends. She's also the daughter of the principal of the school, a principal who is so dedicated to his job that he forgets to eat. The daughter has to remind him to eat. He's also a principal who is not very bright in the head. Like in this scene, he's using a torchlight to look for people in the dark. When the headlights are on, he's using the Come on. Now, Chisom owns a dog, a huge dog called Petra. And this is very important. Remember, Miss Kanyin has an insane fear of dogs. Now, anybody will be scared of this dog. This dog will scare anybody, right? Like, if they showed her being afraid of some puppy or some small dog, it would have really drove the point home. But anybody will be scared of that big fucking dog. Look at that thing. That thing can tear you apart. Anyway, Chisom owns that very big bitch called Petra. So Amara finds out one day that the WAEC papers are going to be kept with Miss Kanyin, and in this scene over here is where we see that Miss Kanyin and this dog Petra have some eternal beef. Because throughout the whole movie, the dog doesn't go after anybody else apart from Miss Kanyin. Now over here, the teachers decide that because they had an issue with papers leaking before, they want to keep the papers with Miss Kanyin. Not the principal who has a very huge dog that can protect the papers. Not the principal who has a safe in his office. Anyway, the safe over there looked like it was breaking a little bit so. But still, they are giving their papers to Miss Kanyin, the cute, vulnerable friend teacher. Over here, the dog attacks her. She drops the papers on the floor. And this is where they should have known that she's not the best person to keep the paper. But Amara sees it. She sees that, oh, okay, she has the papers. So now she has a plan to pass and go to Harvard. So Amara convinces her friends to follow her to break into the house to get the papers. And this part proves the most what I said before.
What if I told you Miss Kanyin has the official exam papers for WAEC in her chalet?
So many things don't make sense over here. You can just tell they were married to the scene or like the vibe of the scene or the concept that they didn't care. They didn't care that it didn't make any sense. Now, before that happens, she goes to Miss Kanyin and tries to emotionally abuse and manipulate her to give her the papers.
You're taking my dreams away because you haven't gotten yours. You think it's by good pronunciation that will get you to Paris? You're going to die! Get out of her! Get out!
I'm amazed when a woman came back as a demon, she didn't kill Amara first. Of course, Amara doesn't die. That's another problem I had. Amara doesn't die at the end. She survives the whole thing, which is crazy. She caused the whole thing. She should have died. But that's just how I feel. Whatever. Maybe they paid Temi Otedola too much money to kill her in the middle of the movie, I guess. Now, Finn was not into the idea in the beginning, which made sense. It was a stupid idea. But then a couple of things happen, and then he gets into a fight with Miss Kanyin, and then he calls her a bitch, and now he is in. And that may have been one of the best written characters, that moment over there, because they gave him a reason. He didn't want to do it. He had good reason to not want to do it because it was a stupid idea. And his father can call the people at Harvard, so he doesn't need to do it. So something needed to happen to give him the reason. And the woman slapping him, that gave him a reason. That scene was very good. It made it more compelling for him to want to join the plan, even though a lot of it was very random. Like his dad sexually harasses Miss Kanyin, which was very random, like no history at all. He just saw her, followed her, and then like grabbed her ass or something, which was very random. Like I don't know where that just came out of nowhere. But it made for a good scene later on when he was like, I'm in.
Guys, so the plan is...
I watched this part like 5 times, no joke, just to make sure I'm understanding everything very, very well. So Miss Kanyin is going on a date with Musty or Musty, however they say the name. Amara is somehow 100% sure and can bet her life on the fact that the papers are in this trunk in Miss Kanyin's living room. They tried to foreshadow this in the beginning where they show Miss Kanyin taking out some papers, exam papers from the trunk, but they turned out to be wrong in the end. She kept it somewhere else, and the place she kept it was much worse than even the trunk. Anyway, so they plan to go in and make copies of the papers, like take one of the papers, go and check the questions out, and then bring them back. Then Chisom, who owns the huge dog, is supposed to make an exact sketch of the padlock so that Finn can go and get one from town. He has a guy who will go and buy it from town, buy the exact same thing from town.
Then we have to find a quick way to break that padlock. That's for you, Uti.
The quickest way to break a padlock is to break the padlock forcefully. Okay, but that will make noise if they hit it and break it. So the other way is to pick the lock, right? To find somebody. It's a senior high school. There's always somebody who can pick a lock. This is based in 1990 or 2024, whatever. The locks at the time could not have been that advanced. When I was in school, like people could use different keys to open all kinds of locks. Like people had lots of keys that they used to open all kinds of locks to steal all kinds of things. They made Chisom get a key. They could have stolen the key, gone and made a copy, and then returned it. That would have been much, much easier. Like so many different ways to break into somebody's house, and all these people, all these students could not come up with a better way than this. This only makes sense if the students are stupid. And it makes it funnier considering the serious nature in which the plan was laid out. You know, like, this is a very common thing in movies. There's a voiceover of the person describing the plan, and then they're showing us scenes of them doing the plan. Like in that scene where she's laying out the plan, if they had the students interrupting her and then like poking holes into the plan, and then all of them start contributing and they start giving ideas, that would have been more realistic. That would have made more sense. They would have gotten a much better plan. But they all just sat down there and listened to her describe this. Like, this is not a plan, bro. In that scene, they missed an opportunity to show us the incompetence of the students. Like, let's say they were completely dumb and they couldn't do the heist, right? If they showed us in that scene that, oh, these people are going to fail. Like, these people are dumb. They start coming up with stupid ideas. Then we can follow them like that. But she laid out this very, very intricate plan in her head, and it doesn't make any sense. But again, you see what I'm saying? They had this scene, they had it in their mind, like they wanted to do a scene like this, and so they just didn't care about the details. They didn't care about making it make sense. They just put it together, made her say anything. I think a much, much, much better way to do this was if they didn't know where the papers are. Like if she didn't bet her life that the paper was in this fucking trunk, then they could have just gone in there. The plan would have been, okay, so you check over here, you check over here, you check over here, and then possible places. It could be over here, it could be over there, it could be over there. So you go in here, you go in here, you go in here, you be on the lookout. And then that way, when everything becomes clumsy, it makes more sense, right? But Amara said, I can bet my life that the papers are in this trunk. Really? Then my favorite part, one of the girls, Lami, is supposed to make masks for them to go and steal the thing. And
Lami, we're going to need masks.
This should go without saying, but there's a reason thieves use black masks when they are going to steal in the dark. This girl went and took white fabric and made white masks for them to go. Like, if anybody saw them in the dark, they won't even be scared that they were thieves. They'll be worried that the KKK has started a movement in Nigeria. My God. Like, this plan makes sense if you are planning to be caught. So Miss Kanyin goes on the date. The car breaks down. She gets down to help him fix it. She's excited about it for some reason. She said she and her father used to fix their car also. So over here, they fix their car, and then they decide to go back to the house. Why don't just go on the date? Like, what, did they spend the whole night fixing the car? They can still go on the date. What time do the bus or whatever they are going close in that area? So while they're fixing the car, the students are trying to get the papers, and the padlock thing does not open.
Shit. What?
Obviously, it doesn't work. Like, he didn't even do it the right way. You put the matchstick inside the key area there, and then light the matches so that when it gets to the padlock, it lights up the whole thing and then breaks the padlock. Like, there are videos of this on YouTube. The students are in 1990, so they don't have YouTube, but the filmmakers have YouTube. They could have checked this out. So over there is when she says, there must be a key somewhere else. That could have been the plan. So we go into the room. and find the key. Now they're all looking for the key, but Finn is there for revenge. So he's peeing on her bed, he's breaking her things. He didn't care about this thing all along. He's a selfish guy, so he's doing what he wants. Like, this part had so much potential, bro. Like, all the elements were there to make a very, very tense scene. Like, the tension could have been way up if everything just made sense. You know, the way they cut between the people trying to find the key and then Musty and Miss Kanyin fixing the car, like, the back and forth between those two scenes could have created much, much more tension if things made more sense. But again, they were married to the idea of using matches to break a lock, like explode the lock and using fire. I'm sure they wanted to like film fire on it because the fire looks nice. And they do it to another place. We'll get to that side. So Miss Kanyin comes back home. The two girls who are supposed to be on the lookout, they're just over there chatting, and so they don't see her, or they don't hear the car pulling up. I don't know. So Finn and Uti just leave Amara by removing the louver blades and tearing the nets, and they just go outside. And Amara, for some reason, does not follow the boys. Like, if the plan is spot, you run away. That's what you would do. And it's not like she knew where the papers were. Like, it's not like she still had faith that she was going to find the papers. No, the plan is, the woman is back, so the plan is done. So you follow the boys and you run away. Because when Miss Kanyin comes in, she sees Miss Kanyin now opening the oven and pulling out the papers, because that's where she kept the papers, the WAEC papers, in the oven, bro. That's where she kept the WAEC papers. So it's not like she knew, like, okay, like she knew where it was. If she found the papers and then Miss Kanyin came inside, it would make sense for her to stay there because now she has a chance. But she didn't know where the papers were, but she stayed for some reason. And by the way, in this scene where they're going to steal in the night in school, Amara is still wearing heavy makeup. Like, I don't know. Maybe they wanted Temi Otedola to look young throughout the movie, but Temi Otedola looks very young. Okay, I've not seen her without makeup before, so I don't know. But like, she had makeup on throughout the movie. No matter what I seen, she had heavy makeup on. Now remember, Miss Kanyin is very, very scared of dogs. She has a phobia of dogs. And so Chisom comes back with her dog to come and check on the plan, because her part in the whole thing was to get the key, the door key, right? The key of the door, so they can enter the room. And she did that. So now Chisom gives the dog to Finn, and she's going to save Amara. Don't know how, but she's going to save Amara. Now, to the best of our knowledge so far, Finn has no idea that Miss Kanyin has a fear of dogs. He doesn't know. Now, we know that dog has eternal beef with Miss Kanyin. Maybe in the past life, they were marriage rivals. Maybe she was a dog eater in the past life. Maybe they were political opponents in a very, very tense election in the past life. I don't know. But in the movie, the dog doesn't back at anybody else. Even when the dog sees the people in the night over there trying to steal, or the dog doesn't see them trying to steal, but they are standing over there, doesn't back at them at all. But then, as soon as the dog sees Miss Kanyin, the dog starts barking at her. And at that point, the dog is with Finn. So Finn leaves the dog to chase Miss Kanyin. But he doesn't know, like, she's scared of dogs like that. So why would he come back? Okay, think about it. He has left the place because she's back. He was so afraid that he left. But now he has come back with the dog to scare Miss Kanyin. And also, and this was one of the biggest parts, when she saw the dog, she was standing at her door. Why wouldn't she run inside the room? Why did she run into the bush? She was at the door. Listen, at this point, I have to remind you, I love the film, okay? I love the film. Don't take my tone as like, hey, I love the film, okay? I'm just like, these things they just round me up like this. So she runs into the bush, she trips and falls, and her head hits the forbidden tree, and her blood spills on the forbidden tree. So there's bound to be trouble. The gods don't like that. And hopefully she's not on her period, because you know African gods, African tradition for some reason doesn't like that. So in this case, if she was, the results were bound to be bloody. And again, I hate to be that guy, but her running in that specific direction is just too on the nose. Like, it's just weirdly specific. Why would she run toward, like, go inside the bush toward the tree? I mean, it's just too, nah. But at this point, you can tell what's happening over here. They were married to the idea. They were married to one particular idea, one shot, one visual element. And so the storytelling itself had to suffer. They had to sacrifice it. They didn't have to, but for what they want, they had to. I don't know. It just wasn't going to make sense if they didn't sacrifice certain things. So Miss Kanyin comes back as a bloodthirsty demon who's killing everybody. And the first person she goes after is Lami. She was going to pee. She must have pissed off the gods, no pun intended, because Miss Kanyin slits her throat and her head hits the WC and it breaks. Again, over here, the producers were married to that shot of her head hitting the thing and then it's breaking. And then there's a part where the water was spilling on the floor and then the blood just flows into the water. You just know that they were excited about that scene. But most importantly, Lami had to die because they were married to another scene that involved fire. So Amara is supposed to give a speech because it's her best friend. So she's giving a speech in front of the whole school. She breaks down in front of everybody. Then she goes to her room, picks up the exam paper, the paper they stole, and burns the paper and puts it in the bucket. So over here, I'm like, wait, this doesn't make any sense. Why? Why is she burning the paper at this point? Yes, them going to get the paper is what caused this whole thing to happen. But she doesn't know how Lami died. She doesn't know that Lami was killed by a demon. She hasn't made a connection between Miss Kanyin, the tree, and the whole thing. She doesn't know any of that yet. So what's the significance of her burning the paper? The paper holds a lot of weight to us as the audience because we know the paper is the reason why Lami died. But Amara does not know that yet. She doesn't know anything yet. She doesn't know how the girl died yet. So why would she burn the paper? Why would she burn it? She will burn it because they wanted to take a video. They wanted this scene where she's lying next to the fire. And it's also one paper. So like the paper will not burn that much for it to come out of the buckets like that. But they wanted to shoot a nice scene. So and they got it. Shouts to them. Like before that, they only mentioned Miss Kanyin and the dead dog in the chemistry lab. But that's not enough of a connection for her to make to the paper to want to burn it. And the fire thing comes up again in the climax scene, and oh boy, that scene is my favorite for many, many wrong reasons. Anyway, Uti is the next one to go. Miss Kanyin drowns him in the pool and then like throws him from the pool and hits the ground. So at this point, Chisom and Musty have gone to the tree. They've made some connections. They've gone to the tree, and then one guy leads them to an old man who's going to tell them the reason why the crops are dying, the animals are dying, and you know the story of the tree. The story kind of makes sense until it gets to the end. So their ancestors came to the village. They found lots of demons. They pushed the demons into one tree.
Their crops and livestock are dying. They brought forth a sacrifice, a human sacrifice to pacify the spirit. They later realized feeding it with human blood was a big mistake.
So the old people did not cut down the tree because they wanted to use it to fight their enemies, but judging by the environment over there, the colonial masters won, so the gods had to be blamed, I guess.
He who is of the tree will become of the tree.
He who is of the tree will become of the tree? Oh, come on, bro. What does this mean? Fiona is next to go with a huge car crash. Shouts to them for doing this scene. Not the best, but we shall overcome. Now, the solution the old man gave was for them to burn the tree at the roots. But the ancestors could not burn it themselves because by the time they were about to burn it, they sold the land.
By the time the elders agreed to destroy it, the land has been sold.
Who sold the land? The same people who knew that the tree was dangerous. Like, you know, you have a killer tree over there and just sold the land and was like, hey, you know what, it's not my problem anymore. Okay, it's you guys your problem? Really? And so that takes us to the final scene, my real favorite scene in this movie. So the school, the headmaster initiates a curfew. And the moment he said this, the students just start running. I don't know, I feel like whenever Nollywood gets a lot of money to make a film for a major streaming platform, they feel the need to have crowds of people, like Gangs of Lagos, plenty crowds. Black Book, they had a lot of people in one of the scenes. I don't know, maybe they like the cinematic look of having lots of people on screen, I think. So now Amara knows about the tree because she reads it in Britannica and then destroys school property by taking the paper out. But who cares? There's a demon killing everybody, so life doesn't mean anything anymore. So the principal, who is Chisom's dad, locks Amara and Finn in a room to go and look for Chisom. That's where he was going around the torchlights in the car where the headlights were on. Now, under normal circumstances, this would lead to a genital meet and greet, maybe a kiss at least, but there's a sexy witch coming to kill them. So I don't see why she cannot join in the game, you understand? The more the merrier. Come on, let's have some fun. I mean, she can take them to other dimensions for the genital meet and greet, all the three of them. Anyway, now Finn is in tears. He's crying because he lost his friends. He's very sad. But instead of getting at least a kiss on the lips, he gets a slap to the face. This is what we get as men when we are vulnerable, okay? They say men should be vulnerable, but this is what I get in there. I getting slapped. Also, this, like, violence, this gender-based violence against men in Nollywood movies has been going on for a long time and it has to stop. Was the slap necessary? And then she calls him a
useless piece of shit!
Why? For what? Why? There was a scene in the movie where she was trying to get the students to be quiet so that she can give an announcement, and Finn is the one who helped her. He's the one who told everybody to shut up! Now he's a useless piece of shit. Oh my god, these rich ladies, bro. So as they're there, Miss Kanyin locates them, of course. Because she's a demon, she's powerful. She can levitate in the air. She can do all kinds of craziness. She has powers from the ancient killer gods from this cursed tree. And she cannot break through a locked door. And it's because they were married to this shot of her punching through the glass. Anyway, Finn proves he's not a useless piece of shit by holding the door and tells Amara to run away, because of love, I guess. No, go. He could have gone with her. But he's like, no, you go and let me stay here and die. So Amara goes to the window slides open easily. There's this thing leaning on the wall conveniently, meaning that they could have escaped long ago if they just gone to the window. And this scene over here might be my favorite. Okay, I know I've said it a couple of times, but this is my favorite. Oh, Jesus, this is great. Watch it one more time. Again. You have not seen it enough. One more time. So Chisom, Amara, and Musti go to the tree to burn it. Now, Miss Kanyin is over there, obviously, to protect her lifeline, which is the tree. And Musti decides that this is his...
This is not you. This is not who you are. Look at me. Miss Kanyin, look at me. This is not who you are.
Moment.
Miss Kanyin, it's me. Bonjour.
Of course, he gets tossed like a salad, and the rest of this part is crazy, bro. So the girls have to get this, pour kerosene under the tree and light a fire under the tree. That wouldn't work in real life, by the way. Kerosene alone is not going to burn that kind of huge tree. They're going to do it anyway, but the woman is coming to get them. And so to distract the woman from coming to stop them from lighting a fire that's going to kill her, Chisom blows fire on Miss Kanyin's face to stop her from coming to stop them from burning the tree. So she has access to this very huge fire, but Amara is standing over there next to the tree trying to light a matchstick. Why didn't you just use the big fire, the spray fire, for the trees? How long would it have taken for the woman to get there? If she was coming and you'd use the big fire, the tree would have gotten burnt and it would have just ended like this.
Amara!
What? I was watching a video on plot holes recently, and this is one of the ones they mentioned, where the characters they don't take an obvious solution just because the film wants to create some kind of drama, right? So over here, they wanted to create a suspense, like, oh, she's coming, and I'm trying to light the fire, but you just use big fire on her face. So of course, Miss Kanyin comes over there, she holds Amara by the neck, and the CGI over here, I think the artist got tired. I would have cut it out, it looks terrible, didn't need to be there. The principal comes and shoots the demon in the back like he's going to do something, and then he gets killed.
Are you sure you're okay?
I'm sure I'm
She
fine.
didn't touch you.
No.
You're sure?
My theory is that this movie is actually set in 2024, and the entire thing is it's a nightmare that Amara is having.
It was a dream, but it felt so real. It just felt so real.
My other theory is that the principal and Miss Kanyin fucked each other, and whenever Miss Kanyin was in the house, she wasn't nice to the dog, and that's why the dog was always coming after she alone. I know I sound like I hate the film, but I don't hate the film. I love the film. This is my type of film. I love this shit. I love screaming at the characters in movies. It's a big part of the viewing experience for me. But yeah, technically they fell into the trap of being married to, I've used that word so many times, being married to scenes instead of being consistent with the storytelling. But at the end of the day, films are meant to tell stories and not only to flex your technical abilities. And at any point in time, in anything that makes a story suffer has to go. It has to be thrown out the window, just like Finn. I still won't ask you to like and subscribe and hit the notification bell. I will ask you to recommend what you think about the movie. Did you guys watch it? It came out like a month ago, and this video is not supposed to be for this channel. It's supposed to be for my movie channel, but I realized many people still don't know I have a movie channel, so I'm posting this one over here so that I'm reminding you guys again. I'll put a link in the comment section, so go and subscribe to the movie channel. I'll make a video on To Kill a Monkey, which is really going crazy right now. Everybody's talking about it. I have my own thoughts about it, so I'll put that over there. And yeah, I really love this movie. I love it. It's crazy. It's funny to me. And all in all, I enjoyed watching it and I love it, but I still don't love it as much as I love you guys. And I'll see you guys in another video. Sing the song.
I will never ever ask you to like and subscribe, But you go fi share my video if you know you're feeling my vibe. People are gonna never ever ask you to like and subscribe. But you go fi share my video if you know you're feeling